Well, you will not believe this, but I just had a big ass spider crawl right in front of my face, down from the ceiling between me and the monitor. Is that good luck, or am I in trouble for today? Anyway, welcome back. It's been a while. This is Total OS Today, total technology and entertainment for beginners and beyond. I have my coffee. We'll have a little chat. I was hoping to come on yesterday, but a major waterline break up the street, and it was nasty. Let me have a quick cup of coffee here. All right, so for today's stream, we'll talk a little bit about Linux, Chromebooks, used Lexus, buying a used car, some of your comments. One of my friends yesterday had a Ford Escape. The transmission went out, and she still owes, I think she said $12,000 on it. Of course, it's out of warranty. What a mess. I guess still today trying to buy a car at a fair price. It can be done. I did it twice during the pandemic. My friend did it once. Anyway, this was unscheduled, so I don't know how many people will come into the chat. It is Sunday morning. Some people come on sometimes. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll catch you on the next one. I had some time this morning. Wanted to do some grass, cut some grass, but it's raining, so I am here. And to be honest, this is more enjoyable. So give me a minute here. We'll get started. And again, if anybody pops into the chat, say hello. Don't be shy. If you are using Linux, specifically the new GNOME or GNOME desktop, I don't know what to say about this. Let me just read it. Linux users beware. I'm so choked up I can't talk. GNOME 45 is bad news for extensions. I guess it breaks everything, or it breaks all of the extensions. Perhaps the father of Linux, Linus Torvalds, said it best when the GNOME 3 came out. The latest version of GNOME about 10 years ago, when he called this an unholy mess. This has got to be the worst Linux desktop environment for anybody, because you never know when things are going to break. Evidently, I used to use Ubuntu, as some of you know. I started with Ubuntu years ago, and I think Ubuntu hit its peak back in 2016. I had it installed on 2 desktops. Then they decided to switch. Well, they made history, I guess you can say. They switched gears. They went into a different direction from what was called the Unity desktop. They went to this GNOME, and it's, I don't know how else to say, but it's horrible, at least for beginners, for new users trying to come to the world of Linux. This should not be your first choice. Your first choice should be to try a Chromebook. If you have no time to tinker, you know, if you're a mom, dad, a couple kids, a nurse, whatever, you travel, your job takes you everywhere, you don't have time to tinker, and we'll talk about this. A Chromebook should be your first choice, and we'll talk about that in a moment. I don't know how many people still continue to use Ubuntu and or the GNOME desktop environment. I'm curious to see if there are any reliable numbers out there. But this is a joke. I'm glad I don't use this anymore. Yeah. Time for another sip of coffee. All right, before I go on, let me refresh the chat here. Just in case somebody pops in the chat. Again, if I missed you, I'll hopefully catch you on the next one. All right, where are we at here? So, yeah, stay away from GNOME. All right, this has got to be the biggest tech news of the year. and it should be talked about more. It isn't, so I'll do it. I don't mind. Chromebooks will get 10 years of automatic updates. I've mentioned this twice at least. You know, for years there's been talk, is this the year of the Linux desktop? Could it be Ubuntu? Could it be Linux Mint? Could it be whatever? Well, that came and went. During the pandemic, Chromebooks outsold Macs. Let me say that again. Little obscure, cheap, usually inexpensive Chromebooks outsold Macs during the pandemic. That is one heck of an achievement. Now, they're not continuing to outsell Macs, I don't think, but they still sell very well. And this is big news. Chromebooks will get 10 years of automatic updates. 10 years. Even on machines that only cost $200 or less. So machines that were built, that came to market in 2021 forward, will get 10 years of automatic updates or more. That's entirely up to Google. Now, when these machines first came out, I think they were 3 years and 5 years and 6 years, 8 years, now 10. And the main reason for this is a lot of these school administrators bought Chromebooks during the pandemic because they were affordable for the kids. But they didn't do their homework. They bought Chromebooks that were nearing the end of life of automatic updates. The hardware was perfectly fine, but they bought Chromebooks, I guess a lot of them, that were destined to expire in terms of automatic updates. Of course, this is not good for the budgets, trash heaps and recycling. Google listened. Now, just to be clear, I don't work for Google. This is not a sponsored video by anybody. If anybody would like to sponsor a live show, you can check out the PayPal link below in the comments or down in the show notes. So this is just for me. Anyway, Google listened, and they have jumped to 10 years of automatic updates for Chromebooks. So why is this important besides extending the use of hardware? Well, I'm going to take a wild guess, but I'm guessing you really don't like to tinker with Linux. You don't have time, right? Right? Yeah. If something breaks, do you really want to jump into terminal to try and fix things in Linux? Probably not. Even if you're not a newbie, you probably don't like to waste time trying to fix things on your computer. Then a Chromebook is probably for you. Do you want to spend $500, $1,000, or $2,000 for a new laptop that you may not use that often? Well, people who buy Apple, I guess, buy it. But I'm guess is for the average working consumer, you probably do not want to spend $1,000 to get a machine that's reliable and that can last 10 years. Then maybe a Chromebook is for you. You might be saying, but I'm scared of Linux. No, just stop. Yes, these are built on a modified version of Linux called Gentoo. God bless you. You don't have to worry about that. That's neither here or there. These machines are ready to go out of the box when you buy them. Okay? If you buy a new Chromebook and it doesn't work the way it should, you need to return it immediately. Because if it doesn't work perfectly, then you need to return it. This is how reliable they are. Do you enjoy free maintenance? No maintenance. I do. I mean, I can certainly fix some things in Linux, but I prefer not to. If you enjoy machines with no maintenance, then a Chromebook is probably for you. Malware. An epidemic. You may have heard of it. Ransomware. Maybe you did nothing wrong or seldom do something wrong, and your machine, the place you work out, the administrator, the IT guy did a little boo-boo, and now his machine is locked with malware. I won't say it's impossible to get this on a Chromebook, but if anybody, anywhere in the world, tell the truth now, can tell me that their machine was hit with ransomware, that'll be a first. That is amazing. Incredible. Incredibile. It's freaking unbelievable. But that's what Chromebooks can do. They can save you a lot of headache. And if by chance the Chromebook senses it has been infected, nothing is perfect, I suppose. It'll warn you. Every time you boot, it checks itself. And it says, hey, there's something going on here. You may want to do a power wash. Power wash, no, not like washing your car. Power wash as in resetting, erasing everything on your computer and starting from scratch. It's a form of verified boot or secure boot or whatever Google calls it. Highly secure. Do you like something that's fast? Like super fast? Open the lid of your laptop, you log in, you're on in 5 seconds. Or less. That's pretty freaking good, I would say. Then maybe a Chromebook is for you. There are other reasons why you should try a Chromebook, but I think that's enough. So we've talked about Chromebooks, why Google's announcement of a machine that averages $200 or less, gets 10 years of updates is historic. It just is. It should be talked about more. It isn't. That's okay. I'll do all the work. Yes, you should consider a Chromebook if you are a Linux user or a Windows user or just curious about all this. Let's face it, if you buy a Chromebook off of Amazon and it's not for you, just return it. Don't break it, don't drop it and break it, of course, but just return it. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain. So Chromebooks are the Linux machine for the masses. Now, if you have time to tinker, you like to download something and try it yourself, yeah, I could recommend Chrome OS Flex, it's called. Installed it on 2 machines, highly, highly reliable, and it's free. Something else free that you can try is called Linux Mint. Been using Linux Mint, 2008, 2009. After that, I tried Zorn OS. There's different versions of Zorn, just like there are different versions of Linux Mint. If you want to try Linux Mint, I recommend the Mate or the Mate version, as it is called. It's spelled Mate, M-A-T-E. Zorn OS, they have different versions. They have the lighter version with the XFCE desktop, I believe. And if you wanted to try the core version, you can. Both of those are free. There are paid versions. Also, if you would like to support Linux Mint and Zorn OS, you can. Another good one is Ubuntu Mate. But generally speaking, my top 3 Linux distributions to try if you have time: Chrome OS Flex, Linux Mint Mate or Ubuntu Mate, and of course Zorn OS. Those have proven to be very, very reliable over the years. Again, if you have time to tinker with an operating system. All right, I'll be back in about 2 minutes. I need to refill my coffee with my Keurig machine. I will be right back. If anybody is in the chat or listening, don't be shy. Say hello. I won't bite. All right, got my fresh cup of coffee. If you guys haven't already, get a Keurig coffee machine. They are terrific. Anyway, let's talk about used cars briefly. Lexus. There's a couple of comments here just highlighting here on the screen. Thank you all for all of your comments on buying a used Lexus or buying a Lexus, used Lexus. I did during the pandemic for my son. My friend bought one. We actually bought them at the same time. There's a local car dealership here in town, downtown. And when car prices went through the roof, we actually got fair deals on used Lexuses, on two of them, which is kind of rare. A lot of people, it seems, still are getting, well, they're getting financially screwed, trying to get a good deal on a car. And this is something that I see it all too often here in Ohio. Talking to different people, different friends. It breaks my heart. It doesn't have to be that way. There are two pandemics. There's the there's the COVID pandemic that apparently the virus is coming back, and then the second pandemic is the inflated car prices. You know, we really should do a podcast or a live show on, buying a used car, how not to get screwed, buying a used Lexus or Toyota. And if somebody would like to sponsor a show like that, let me know. Maybe we can do an hour or two program on that. I learned a lot about buying cars when I lived in Florida from a former used car salesman. Taught me all the tricks back in the 90s that have stayed with me on buying used cars. All right, I got my fresh coffee. So let's briefly go into these some of your comments here. Let me see here. This is from Jason Wilson. He says the best Lexus were the ones built in the early to mid 2000s, made in Japan. Proper maintenance, they can easily last over 300,000 miles. Thank you, Jason. Yeah, I've seen Lexus on YouTube post them going over 500,000 miles. Speaking to a friend of mine yesterday, a new friend, she just moved in from Denver, I believe. If anybody is from Denver, hi and welcome. She bought a Ford Escape. The transmission went out. Of course, it's out of warranty. So I was trying to give her some quick tips, some quick lessons on how to, buy a used car, trade it in. She says, well, I still owe $12,000 on it. Ouch. That hurts. Anyway, the most reliable vehicles will be your Toyotas and your Hondas. All right. Thank you, Jason, for the comment. This is from Heach. He says, 100% right. I never bought anything other than a used Lexus and Acura. Toyota makes Lexus. Honda makes Acura. Well, you're a smart one, my friend. Yeah. All right. The Lexus my son has, it's 215,000 miles, by the way. Still runs like a champ. My friend's Lexus, I believe, is closing in on 200,000 miles, around 180,000 miles. And they both still purr. All right. This is from Manying 44444. Hello. He says, I'm looking to buy a 2012 IS250 base model. 158,000 miles, 7,000 was originally 9. Should I go through 2 fender benders? It looks like the car was involved in some kind of accident, if I read this correctly. That you got to watch, and I think my reply was check for rust. Fender benders, if not fixed properly, or if you plan on fixing them, there can be rust that's starting that you cannot see. Always check for frame rust, number 1. But 2 fender benders, well, how serious are the fender benders? If it's cosmetic, I would not worry about it. All right. And Andrew Tash 2299. Hello, Andrew. You have a 2013 CT200H, 150,000 miles, still getting 43 miles per gallon. Not one single issue. A 10-year-old car with a hybrid battery. Not a single issue. A hybrid freaking battery. They don't particularly last that long. Usually, that's what everybody says. Unless, of course, you buy a Toyota built product. Andrew, that's terrific. You guys may be seeing a pattern here. If you're going to buy used, your number one choice should be Toyota. It's that simple. All right, another sip of coffee here. All right, let me go take a quick glance at the chat here. Okay, well, this is a very quiet morning. Looks like I'll be missing all of you guys. I will stick around a little bit longer, see if anybody pops in and wants to say hello. I need to give a quick shout out to all the PayPal supporters. Thank you so much for sticking around. On Patreon, one lone survivor, as it were, Anselm, my dear friend Anselm from out west of me. We still have one patron on the Patreon page. I left it up there for you, my dear friend. We had obviously more than one person, one supporter on Patreon, but they all dropped out during the pandemic for various reasons. I hope all of you are okay. It's not something I've talked about much. I didn't deem it appropriate. Anselm, you are there. Thank you so much. That's where I post the edited audio versions of these live YouTube shows. Just for you, my dear friend. If you would like to support the channel, you can for as little as $1 a month on Patreon. Thank you, Anselm, for sticking around. Hope you are doing well, my dear friend, and a smart Chromebook user. I know at least one of you had the brains out there. Haha. All right, I'm going to drink my coffee. I'll stick around a little bit longer. If anybody else drops in the chat, I'll say hello. If not, and we'll wrap it up. Feels weird doing these solo. I've done solo before. That's fine. It just kind of feels weird. Pre-pandemic, yeah, we had a lot of activity in the chat, but the pandemic has changed life, hasn't it? Be safe out there. Anyway, I don't know if you can hear the background music. It's of course from my dad, from his music vault in Italia. Thank you, Dad. You know what? I'm bored. Let's do a little bit of news nonsense. How does that sound? Let's see, what do we have here? An overturned semi-truck spills loads of fish onto Washington highway. Well, that stinks. Yeah. Road crews were left with quite a mess to clean up. I bet. Speaking of fish, I might have that today. What else here? World's largest toothpaste collection includes whiskey flavors. There's a picture of the toothpaste. It says Scotch, toothpaste, bourbon, toothpaste. Hey, if it'll get people to brush more, why not have Scotch flavored toothpaste? Oh man, are you kidding me? Jeez. Okay, why not? Woman rescued from inside outhouse toilet in Michigan. That's what the headline says. I'm not going to read any more, but that's what it says. What a crappy story. Apparently there's a boot throwing championship, a boot throwing record broken at National Plowing Championships. Boot throwing. I guess they gave him the boot. This is a strange world, is it not? Squirrels caused 3 power outages in 2 days in Montana. Oops. Those little wascally squirrels. All right, one more. A bear invades Florida garage, eats vegan ice cream. Yuck. A hungry black bear, of course, invaded a family's garage in Florida, got into the freeze, and feasted on pizza, burger patties, bread, and vegan ice cream? Really? Vegan ice cream? If it ain't loaded with sugar and calories, forget about it. Vegan ice cream. Who thinks of this shit? Oops, I can't say. Yeah, I can say shit. What the heck? It's my channel. Was that the last one? Oh my god. Vegan ice cream. Please. Holy cow. There's a steer. A Massachusetts beefy bovine is 6 feet tall. I'm 6 feet tall. That is a big ass cow, bovine, whatever. My goodness. Huh. Okay. Must be all those steroid injections, man. Yeah. I remember last year when I had COVID for about 2 weeks. I went to the hospital, and the doctor says, "Hey, I'll give you a steroid injection." I'm like, but my first thought was steroid, Arnold Schwarzenegger. He said, no, man. It's a steroid to help the immune system. Oh, that kind of steroid. Okay. It actually helped me. Anything else that's funny? Okay, this will be the last one. I like it when people hack things. This is electronic construction sign displays profanity in Houston. Hang on a second. Let me see if I can. Let me see what it says here. Public Works officials in Houston said they did not know how an electronic construction site. What do you mean they don't know? It was hacked, you freaking morons. Electronic construction site display profane message. Let me see. Due to weather, before switching to this message saying, go bleep yourself. Due to weather, go bleep yourself. Well, it's true. When weather is really crappy and you have to be on the road, you are bleeped. Oh, that's funny. Oh, that's funny. Anyway, let me see who's in the chat room. Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master from Florida is in. I miss Florida. I miss the flat roads. I really do. You know. Yeah. Anyway, how's things in Florida? It's still wet and rainy? It's raining today. I remember years ago somebody hacked a construction sign in Florida. And the sign read, "No Latinos or tacos allowed." Anyway. The weather is crazy there, Florida. Oh my. I know. Isn't this like the second hurricane back to back or something that you had, what, a month ago? When I lived in Florida in the 90s, I went through 2 hurricanes. But I lived in Orlando, so I was away from the water, so it wasn't that bad. The second one, okay. Yuki, how's your Chromebook or your Chrome OS Flex? You still using it? All right, so you love your Chromebook. You use the Linux environment. Okay, so you turn that on for Debian 12 to do the Linux apps. Very good. Yeah, I don't mess with that as much in mine. I don't really use my laptops that much, to be honest. It's either my desktops or my phone. Speaking of phones, I need to get a new one. This is the last year of security updates for my Motorola phone, but yeah. Chromebooks are the way to go, man. Reliable, safe, maintenance-free, affordable, underappreciated masterpieces of technology for the masses, for sure. All right, what time is it anyway? It is 10:47. Wish we had more people on, man. Wish life would get back to normal. Anyway. You use Linux Mint also. Yes. That is my main Linux machine, Linux Mint, besides my Chromebook. I got Mint installed on several machines, Windows 11 on several machines. Windows 11 is terrific, by the way. You can install Linux Mint, or rather Windows 11 on 10-year-old machines. Yes, it is that lightweight. It can be done. I know it sounds weird to say Windows 11 lightweight, but I installed Windows 11 on a machine from 2011 that had Windows 7, 8 gigs of RAM, and Windows 11 works. I proved it. I'm surprised. I'm listening to my dad's "Oh Hey I'm Screwed" song. Still get a kick out of it. You left Ubuntu Mate a long time ago. Didn't feel the same. Okay, well, it's different. But I'll stick around a little bit longer until I finish my cup of coffee. I wish we had more people on. I don't know when to do these shows anymore. I need some feedback. When's a good day, night? We'll try to work it out. Seems like everything is wonky still. I'm looking at the data tracker for COVID. Looks like we're up 12.5%. Be safe out there, guys. Don't get lackadaisical. Yeah. Wash your hands. Stay away from crowds. It's not fun catching it. I had it. It was a major pain in the cojones. Yeah, I love my Keurig machine. Quick, fast coffee. I've been lucky with these machines. This Dell now is it's 10 years old. I was gonna get one right before the pandemic started. Then the pandemic hit and I held off, and I'm still holding off. The other machine, my Lenovo, that's hooked up to my 50-inch TV. That one is 12 years old. Maxed out with 8 gigs of RAM. Hey, it still works. I use that to stream Paramount Plus, movies, Star Trek, and stuff like that. I've been very, very lucky spending money on other things. Like wine, although I'm out of wine. Maybe Santa Claus will be good to me and buy me a whole case of wine. Oh, Dennis, hello, how are you? Ubuntu Mate is okay. Yeah, it's just a different version of the Mate desktop. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah, it's been a while since me and Switch have done a Linux chat. Well, he's on the road still, right? Traveling, visiting different places in his van. It's going to be impossible to get our schedules to match. But that would be fun. Some of the stuff he's posted on his travels, the scenery is amazing. I just did a quick search for some of the best Linux laptops besides the Chromebook, just in general. Yeah, $2,800. Sure, sign me up. I'll buy one right now. Oh man. Have you seen that new Linux phone? I forget what it's called. It's like $2,000 with specs from like 5 years ago. I don't get it. Anyway. Oh, he does his supporter chat on Thursdays. Yeah, I try to do the supporter chats on the weekends, but it seems like every time I jump on, people have plans. I did one last week. I think Dan came on, and that was it. So yeah, I really don't know when to schedule anything anymore, Yugi. So all I can do is come on and see what happens. Yeah, Stephanie is back in Germany. She's doing more girly like cosmetic style stuff on a channel called the Style Stumbler. I have not spoken to her really since the pandemic started. She seems okay, but she is back in Germany, and yeah, it's been a while since we've had a chat. Kind of miss her, but I think we all do. But yeah, so you can check out the Style Stumbler. That's the name of her cosmetics channel. I'll jump on there. I'll watch it every once in a while. I'm looking for a joke. You know me when I look at the videos. But one video she was talking about lip gloss and testing different lip gloss, and I said, Stephanie, you sure give a lot of lip service on your channel. Anyway. Does she still do music? I don't think she's done a new music thing in a while. I'd have to look. I don't know. But yeah, that concert she did for us back in 2018, that's probably one of the best things I've ever done on the channel. It was fun. It was warm. Now, when I say warm, I don't mean that the temperature was warm, but yeah, that was a wonderful time. And having her visit here in 2019, she did a couple shows. That was really, really nice. Really nice. We had a terrific time. And I was planning on bringing her back the following year. Try to put her on the main stage during the summer concert series downtown. But then we all know what happened in 2020, and that was the end of that. It was disappointing to say the least. Anyway, that one hurt. I'll be honest, but yeah, she's still on YouTube. Yeah, the pandemic did mess things up a bit for many. So again, I don't know when to really jump on to do the live shows like this. Weekends don't seem to work. Sundays don't seem to work. So we'll see. I'm still around. What I need is really feedback from the community, you know. They, anyway. I need to get, like, something that keeps the coffee warmer, you know. We have virtualized space. He says, hi, hello. I must admit I did not get what the value of Chromebooks was until recently. Yes, sir. I think it's a sir. Absolutely. I started off this podcast talking about the Chromebooks. You can replay this later, but look, where else can you get a machine, laptop, 10 years of updates, 10 years or more for $200 or less or more, but around $200 or so. Just about as close to 100% malware free as possible. No maintenance. I've never had any update break on a Chromebook. Super fast. They just work. They just work. So yes, that is the value of Chromebooks, virtualized space. Underappreciated masterpieces. I think somebody said that on YouTube. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So Google's announcement of giving Chromebooks 10 years of updates, that's historic. Have you thought about buying one virtualized space? Oh, you bought one for your girlfriend. She is a massive phone user. Ah, and it fits right in her workflow. Cool. I'm assuming that she loves it. Yeah, the announcement from Google is not surprising. Look, Chromebooks outsold freaking Macs. Think about it. Apple, the most valued tech company in the world, I guess. Little bitty Chromebooks. When I mean little bitty, I mean like inexpensive, almost throwaway machines, it seems, because they're so cheap. Outsold Macs during the pandemic. That's historic. You know, you know. And they didn't sell just because they're cheap. They have to work. They have to be reliable. The only thing missing was longer updates. You know, software updates, security patches. Google said, okay, you got it. 10 years. 10 years for machines that average $200. I don't think Apple does that on their $2,000 Macs. Do they give you 10 years? I don't have a Mac. It's not in my budget. But those of you who use Macs, let me know. 10 years. I'm guessing most people probably won't keep their laptops 10 years. They'll move on to the next one, or maybe they accidentally spilled coffee on it, or they dropped it, or you know what happens. Hi, honey, I just want to go. Oops, I just spilled coffee on my laptop, and there you go. You have an old one, AUE, next year. Okay, expires next year. Bought used. I'm getting a new one next year. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. When Chromebooks started out, I remember the first time I looked at a Chromebook, I was like, I'll be honest, this is, back in 2012. I was like, Oh, how things have changed. Yep, a Linux gold standard. I did not see it coming, I really didn't. But the opportunity presented itself. Chromebooks got better. They stayed inexpensive for the most part. They were consistently reliable, it would seem, even starting back then. And they just work. I mean, what more do you want? With Google's announcement, with their announcement 10-year updates, I wonder how many more Chromebooks will be sold this holiday season. You're testing how well it works for me with Chrome OS Flex on a ThinkPad. Oh, it is certified. It should be perfect. Yeah. I tested Chrome OS Flex on a non-certified machine, and it ran pretty good. So you should be in good shape if it is certified. ThinkPads are great for running Linux. I got 2 of them. Don't use them that much, I'll be honest, but yeah, they are great. Am I planning to review any distros soon for the channel? Nothing on the horizon. Yugi, yeah. Nothing out there really catches my eye, so I think I will wait on that. Once Chromebooks established themselves as the Linux machine for the masses, I've kind of lost interest in reviewing other operating systems, to be honest. Yeah. There are many channels out there reviewing Linux-based operating systems. But it's like, okay, how does this affect me? How can this improve the quality of my life? What does this do for me? Should be the questions need answered. So, virtualized space. Does your girlfriend use the Chromebook like every day? Yeah, it comes down to what can Linux do for me, for the average person. I think the pandemic and post-pandemic has prioritized people's daily lives. Like, what do I want to spend my time doing? Tinkering with Linux, fixing a bug, or more time not doing that, enjoying my machine and spending time with friends and family. And I think I'm not the only one thinking about that. So, yeah. She's getting used to it. Slow to adopt it, getting used to it. Okay, cool. Cool. It is fast, virtualized space, isn't it? A Chromebook. I'm actually doing this live podcast in Linux Mint. Mate, of course. Yeah. Yes, the access to Android apps in the Chromebook is nice. Think about it. You have the standard Chrome OS, which is great. Android apps, which is great. Linux, if you want to enable the experimental Linux environment. It's like getting 3 machines in one. Not bad. Yeah, my channel archive. It was one of the Thank Toss It's Friday moments when Switch Linux showed us how to make flavored water. I think I do remember that back in 2018, I believe. Yes, I do. Lots of great funny moments on the channel. I wish I could have traveled, and meet some of you guys and do a live show from where you live. Oh yeah, people like their music apps. Absolutely. During the pandemic, I remember the funny stories where companies and bosses were doing virtualized Zoom meetings, not knowing how to use the apps. And one boss, during a Zoom meeting, turns herself into Mr. Potato Head. Oops. How can you keep a straight face? Yeah, Linux gaming has improved. Still not quite there with Windows, but it has improved, yes. All right, well, it is after 11 here in Ohio. I had coffee, but no breakfast. So I think I'm going to eat something to get my day started. As always, thank you all for joining in this morning. Thanks to all of the PayPal supporters. Again, thanks to the lone surviving Patreon supporter, Anselm, my dear friend from Cheyenne, Wyoming, I think, if I recall correctly, and Chromebook user, the smart one. Thanks, Virtualized Space. Thanks, Yu-Gi-Oh! Master. The rest of you, sorry that I missed you. Feel free to post your suggestions for when to get together again. I'm open to anything at this point. You guys know how to reach me. Arrivederci, my friends. Peace.
Questa lunga strada che non so dove andare senza te. Guidaci in questo grande mondo che è difficile seguire senza te. Io ti amo, io ti amo. La stella è il vero simbolo d'amore sulla terra. Guidaci in questo grande mondo che è difficile seguire senza te. Io ti amo, io ti amo, io la stella è il vero simbolo d'amore sulla terra. Guidaci in questo grande mondo che è difficile seguire senza te.